What's going on, guys? It is your boy Frankie, and on today's video I wanted to do a 100-mile review on the Lectric XP here, just as promised. So I'm actually not at 100 miles, but I'm close enough. If you look at my screen over there, I'm at 97 miles, so close enough. Usually on motorcycles you have like a what you call like a break-in period, or like a break-in maintenance schedule, which is usually anywhere from like your first 700 miles to first 1,000 miles. On this one, what Lectric XP likes to call it is a break-in maintenance period at 100 miles. So it is recommended that you can take this to your local bike shop to have them check everything out. In my case, I'm not going to necessarily do that because I don't have any major issues. I haven't had any issues at all, to be honest, with this thing. So we're going to go ahead and check a few things out. So if you look through the manual, what Lectric XP recommends to do within your first 100 miles is to see, the first thing you're going to do is check like your brakes and your shifting and everything too, because these cables do tend to get loose through time and everything. So everything on this bike has worked fine. However, the only thing I did have to do was adjust my brakes a little bit. So what had happened, and actually, as a matter of fact, I ended up doing it at around 70 miles. Right here, the levers, if you look, they were starting to, because in time these cables do stretch out. So when I was pulling the brakes down, they were going pretty close to right here, to where the handle grips are. So what I ended up doing was, we're going to go here on the other side here. Let me show you. So right here on the rear brake caliper, you've got a little adjustment screw right there. So I went ahead and just adjusted that to make it a little tighter. And then on the front, it's got the same thing right here too. So I slowly adjusted it, just a little bit, quarter turn, both front and back, and then after adjusting a little, I would come up here and then just pull back. And then after I adjusted both of them a few times, now as you can see, when you pull back, it'll stop like right there. They feel nice and tight, just how I like them. So and that was really the only adjustment I had to make. Another thing too of what they suggest is, well, I will throw up the maintenance manual for you guys too, so you can check out for like the torque specs. But I'm also going to check the tire pressure. These tires, your tire pressure will be printed right here on the side of your tire, depending on what kind of tire you have. These ones say inflate up to 20 psi. I'm going to go ahead and check that. I did inflate them to 20 psi after I slimed the tires when I first got the bike. The last time I checked this, which was probably a month ago, my tire pressure was at, I want to say, 17 psi. So I'm going to go ahead and check the tire pressure. I don't have to lube the chain yet. I did lube the chain the first day I got the bike. They don't recommend to do it until after the 250 mile mark, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. I like to keep my chains lubed and everything. And as a matter of fact, what else? So, and then also the other thing to check too is all of your bolts. You want to check, make sure all your bolts are to the recommended torque specs. I will post the recommended torque specs from the manufacturer up on the screen. I'll go ahead and put that up right now. I'll leave that up there for a little bit for you guys. Feel free to pause the screen and copy it if you want. That's got everything there from Lectric XP. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do some further things here, like I was telling you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and lube the chain. This is what I like to use. You don't have to use this, but this is called Rock and Roll Lube. This is what I used to use on my road bike. I picked this up at a local bike shop. You can probably find it online. I haven't tried looking for it online, but I just go to the bike shop, pick it up it's about $10 for a bottle like this, and a bottle like this will last you a while. And to use this specific kind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give this a really good shake. What I like about the Lectric XP is because where the kickstand is located, back over here, it's located back further enough so that you can still pedal backwards. like this. Let me show you guys on this side here. You can still pedal backwards and it doesn't bump into the kickstand like that. See, like every bike that I've ever owned, when you get to about this part, it'll hit the kickstand, which could be annoying, but I like how Lectric put it back over there. So after giving this a good shake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze some right here, and as I squeeze, I'm going to go ahead and pedal backwards. Okay, and that should be enough. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wipe any excess lube that had gone on the rim or anywhere else, especially if any of it went on the brakes. You don't want to cause any slippage there. There you go. Lubricating your chain will improve the life of the chain, and it'll help it smooth shifter and everything too. So I mean, if you go to a bike shop, they'll tell you to lube as much as you can. Lectric doesn't really recommend that. They say to just do it every, you know, I think it's around 250 miles, because if, you know, I don't know, I'm sure they have their reasons for it, but I'm going to go ahead and lube mine like every 100 miles. And another thing too, if your gears aren't shifting properly, you're going to want to go ahead and adjust this over here too. If you're not familiar with it, I would take it to a bike shop or have a friend come over who is good doing these things with bikes that can help you out with that. Okay, so chain is lubed. I'm going to go ahead and double check the tire pressure and see where we're at now, since the last time I did put air and slime in these tires was when I first got the bike. That was back in New Year's Eve. So let's see where I'm at now. I don't know if you can see that. We're at about 18. It's still around the same, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 18. If you're riding mostly pavement, you're fine around 18 to 20 miles. If you're going to do anything off-road or go on dirt or snow, perhaps you're going to want to lower the pressure down so that you can get better grip. Also, another reason why, if you may want to lower your pressure down a little bit too, is it'll make the ride a little smoother too, to absorb those shocks and everything, because this bike doesn't come with shocks. To me, it hasn't really been an issue. It's not bad. Sometimes when I hit a bump, it does tend to get a little bouncy, but it's nothing to where it's you know, really irritated me or anything. But lowering the tire pressure some more does help a lot absorb bumps in the road, especially with these big fat tires and everything too. And what else can I think about? So brakes, my brakes have worked fine. So what I've done on this bike to help with the brake squealing, because you guys will get that with this. So when I first got the bike, one of the first things I did with putting in the air pressure and the slime, well, the slime first and then the air pressure, and then lubing the chain. Another thing I did was did like a break-in period with the brakes. So what I did was, before riding, is I grabbed some rubbing alcohol. You're going to clean this rotor all the way around, and then you're going to want to move your tire back, you know, so that you get every part. You'll do both sides of the rotor, back rotor and front rotor. And then after you do that, alcohol does tend to dry pretty fast, so you're going to do that first, and then when you ride, you give it a little bit of brake, you know, and then let go. A little bit of brake, let go, and then you increase a little further. Like, you don't want to get on your bike and then just freaking grab those brakes and lock up your wheels or anything, you know. You just do it slowly at a time, keep doing that, and then gradually go a little more. That'll break it in. I've had to, I did have to, so after I did that the first time, I'm sorry, it's like I forgot how to speak here for a second. After I did that the first time, the bike sat for about a month. When I took it back out again, it did squeak again. So I went ahead and I did the same process with the rubbing alcohol, cleaned it up, and so far it's been good. So I've only had to do that twice. But if you do that on a regular basis, it will help with the squeaking and everything. These don't really squeak much. I mean, sometimes I've noticed when I use both at the same time, it does squeak a little. It's nothing crazy. You will notice that if you don't do that at all, it will. The squeaking is pretty loud on this. Or some people have joked, saying that you don't even need a horn or a bell on this, because the brake squeaking is so loud that you can just use that to warn other riders. God, yeah, and my bike's dirty, man. I gotta clean this thing too. But all right, so basically, guys, that is the 100-mile break-in maintenance you really got to do. Just go ahead and double check all of your bolts. Make sure that they're to the recommended torque specs. I'll bring that up on the screen again for you guys to check out. You guys can copy if you want. That is from the actual Lectric XP manual. The next thing you want to do is, you don't have to, but I did it. I lubed the chain, check your tire pressure and everything too, and then just make sure you don't have any issues. You go ahead and check all your connections and everything too. The first 100 mile is isn't too bad, but after you get to the 250 mile is where it gets a little more in depth. So if you have a local bike shop that'll check it out, even better. Like I was saying, nothing on this bike has felt like it's about to break. I mean, my handlebars, which these are custom handlebars, these are good. These mirrors are useless. I don't like them. I think I'm going to remove them. One of my videos, I had put bar end mirrors. I took them off because it just made it too wide. So I'm going to probably buy a different set of mirrors. There were these really cool mirrors that I did like. They're about $15 a piece, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go with those. And those are basically, they just mount to your bracket right here, and they go out and they stick out this way. I'll leave a picture up over there so you can kind of see what I mean. I'm probably going to end up going with these. These are okay, but they're really, I can't see much out of them, so I'm going to probably just remove them. And you can see they're cheap. I put this on there and I tightened them and the thing freaking broke, so I'm holding it there with zip tie right now. But yeah, and that's pretty much it, guys. My next video I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see how far I can go on flat ground, fully charged battery, and see how many miles I can get to. Because the last video I did was the throttle only test, which was pretty impressive to me. I got around 17 miles just using throttle on flat. So I'm gonna do that same route, and I'm gonna see if I can get this to fit in my Honda. I'm not gonna give up on that yet. Obviously, it won't go in the trunk. They don't sell a car rack for a trunk that'll work on a step-through bike that's this heavy. So and I don't want to put it on the roof of my car, so I'm gonna see if I can fit it in my passenger seat. If that does work, you guys will see that on the next video, because I'm gonna be throwing it in the Honda and going out to the same spot and doing another test there, but using pedal assist this time. So if you guys are new to the channel, please hit like and subscribe. Go ahead and leave your comments. I read and try to respond to every single one of them. I do appreciate your guys' support for the channel, and until then, I will see you guys on the next one. Ride safe out there, guys.